So today we are going to start with a new topic, and the topic says characteristics of virtualized environment. We have already seen before in the last lecture that what do you mean by virtualization. So basically if I talk about virtualization, it is nothing but creating a virtual version of something. And that something is nothing but your operating system, your servers, your network storages, everything which you want to virtualize or you want to create a virtual version, then it is called as virtualization. So there are few characteristics of the virtualized environment we are going to look into here. So the very first is increased security. So increased security basically refers to that whenever you are re- making your guest machines or whenever you are running your computers with the help of guest machine, there is a complete transparency. Okay, all the transactions which is taking place, all the communication which is taking place, all the virtualization which you have performed and the resources which you are using, everything is completely transparent. Okay, so with this transparency it is making sure that it is going to give you a security as well, and that is something which is required, because if you are not giving a security of your guest machines, of your host machines, then it can become very much difficult. Okay, because all the operations whichever you are performing, you are going to do it with the help of your virtual machines, that is your VMwares. So in this, indirectly, your virtual machine managers which is there, it is going to track all your activities with the guest machine. It will make sure that if there are any unauthorized operations or any harmful operations which are there, like there is bugs, there are errors, anything if it is there, then that also needs to be filtered out or that needs to be secured. So your activities which you are performing with your guest operations are completely transparent, and with the help of VMM, that is virtual machine manager, it makes sure that all the operations are secured and any bugs or errors which are there will be removed while the time the filtering is done. Okay, so all the resources which are there we are going to be exposed by the host, and anything which needs to be protected will be protected from the guest. Okay, because this is a guest machine, so you won't allow any outside information to go there or any sensitive information to go there, though there is a lot of transparency with respect to the execution refers to whatever you are executing, your operating system, your applications, whatever you are executing or you are accessing, that is going to be completely transparent, no doubt with it. Okay, but the resources which are confidential, which are you are accessing or you are putting into your guest machine, that needs to be protected, and this is usually done, and that is nothing but an increased security when I talk about these characteristics in virtualized environment. Second, managed execution. With virtualization, there has been execution managed very well. Okay, so not just security has been taken care of, but the execution has also been managed very well. So execution of the virtualized environment is categorized into four things. You can see I have mentioned it with four different colors. The very first is sharing. Okay, so in case of virtualization, whenever you are creating your virtualized machine or whenever you are creating your environments, in that case, there are going to be different environments on the same host. Like there are going to be different virtual machines, okay, of the main host machine which you are going to have. The reason why we do it, because here we are going to run different operating systems. Here you are going to run different software. So you cannot have same environments or same computing environments, because multiple operating system cannot run in one environment. So for different operating system, you need to have different environments. That's a different story. You can share them later on, you can have an access to it. That is possible, but initially if I talk about with the help of virtualization, you can create different computing environments that belongs to the same host machine. Okay, so different computing environments are nothing but your different virtual machines or VMwares or guest machines which you are making out of the same host, that is nothing but the main machine or the host machine which you are going to use for creating the virtualized or virtualization environment. Second we have is aggregation. Okay, so just not only sharing is possible, but also aggregation is possible. Okay, so aggregation here simply refers to what? Aggregation simply means what? You're going to combine something, you're going to couple something, or you're going to tie something together. So that is usually called as aggregation. So here there can be multiple hosts that belongs to different environment, that can be tied together, and they can be represented as a single virtual host. So this is also something possible. So that is referred as aggregation. You are aggregating, you are combining, you are coupling, you are tightening different host environments together, and you are representing them as just one single host. So that is your second characteristics of managed execution, that is aggregation. Third we have is emulation. Okay, so if I talk about emulation, it simply refers that your guest programs which you are executing can be executed within the environment. Okay, and that environment is nothing but your virtualization environment or virtualization layer, because emulation means what, you are running different guest machines, you are running different virtual machines. So when you are running your guest or virtual machine, that can take place only in the virtualization environment, where you have created your VMwares, where you have created the virtualization. So your guest machines can run only those environment, it cannot run outside that. So with this, you are controlling the environment, you are exposing different guests to different others, you are running different operating systems out of it. So that is refers to as emulation. Last, we have isolation. Okay, so isolation, the word itself is self-explanatory. Whenever you are running something isolately, or you can say individual or one at a time, then it is called as isolation. So with the help of virtualization, you can create multiple guests, multiple virtual machines or guest machines. You can run them in the same host without they are interfering with each other. Your one guest machine is running operating system Linux, your second virtual machine is running your operating system Windows, third is running operating system, you can say, Mac. So there are multiple guest machines which are there, which are operating, which are running, and each of them are running at the same time on the same host without interfering each other about their activities or without interfering their work. So this is something which is possible with the help of virtualization only, because it is creating a separation, you can say, or it is, you can say, it is creating a layer between your host and guest, which doesn't isolate them, which doesn't interface the work, and the works happen in a systematic manner. Even the virtual machines are filtering the activity of guest machines, and if there are any harmful operations against the host, like for example your operating systems are not updated. So most of the times what happens, the bugs are, you are usually identified. So VMware is going to what, VMM, that is virtual machine manager. Basically it is going to check for all the updates, it basically the security updates, because here you are running your guest machines, and these guest machines are working with the help of the host machine. So in case if your guest machines are having any bugs or if they're having any errors, it is going to directly affect your host machine. So the VMware here plays a very important role by making sure that all the guest machines which are there, which are running, they are checked, their security updates are there, there are no harmful errors. Because of that, the system will hold or your host machine will suffer out of it. So these are the features which will really taken care by VMM. So characteristics of virtualized environment, so far we have completed two, that is increased security. I'll just give you a quick recap what is increased security. So whenever you are executing your guest environments, you are making sure that there is a security, because VMware is there which is going to control and which is going to monitor all the activities which are performed over the guest machines, and if there are any suspicious activity, then it is going to block it. Manage execution, that you are going to manage the execution environment, and this you are doing with the three characteristics, that is sharing, second is aggregation, and third is simulation, and fourth is isolation. So these are the four characteristics which are important when you talk about managed execution. So next we are moving to the characteristic, that is portability. Okay. So if I talk about portability in virtualization, it is not going to be, you can say it is going to be constant all the time, depending on what is your op- op- virtualization technique. Either you're going for hardware virtualization, either you're going for the software virtualization. So it actually depends upon what type of virtualization technique you are opting for. So you cannot expect that your portability concept is going to be fixed for a longer time. Depending on your virtualization, whatever you are selecting, you are going to get the portability according to that. At sometimes you will get a lot of portability, at sometimes you can expect that since you are trying to protect, you are going to implement more security, so here you won't get portability options much. Okay, so in case of hardware virtualization, I've just given an example, like your guest machines are usually patched into virtual image. We usually use virtual images whenever you want to load or you want to run your operating systems, and later on it can be safely moved or you can be executed on the other virtual machines. Usually VMwares have the concept like once you have created once VM, that VM can be run on other VMs as well. I don't know how many of you must have done the VM, but basically your virtual machines have this concept. Like once you have installed anything on one VM, it can be easily copied to the other VMs as well. So portability is something is different according to different concept. So you really cannot expect that, okay, your portability freedom or whatever is your portability characteristic is going to be same across all the virtualization technique. It is not going to be. Okay. In case of hardware, you can somewhere expect that that is easy to do, but in case of software you cannot expect the same. Okay, because your software have different security issues, they have different mechanisms to run, so you cannot expect much there. Okay, next characteristic fourth we have is partitioning. So in virtualization, as we all know, we are doing partitioning. We have like SaaS, that is software as an app service. We have PaaS, platform as a service. We have as, that is infrastructure as a service. So that are the key building blocks. So accordingly you are going to do the partitioning. You can do application partitioning, you can do operating system partitioning, you can do your entire infrastructure partitioning. So depending on what you want, whatever services you want, whatever resources you want, accordingly you're going to do the partitioning, and everything is going to take place and with the help of your physical machine, because you're creating a virtualized service or virtualized version of your physical system. So here you have to first decide that what you're going to go about, how your operating systems are going to work, and then you're going to go for separating the resources accordingly. Next, fifth characteristic we have is encapsulation. Okay, so encapsulation, as everybody must be very much knowing about this, it means that you're going to hide something, you're going to protect your internal details. That is usually referred as encapsulation. Encapsulation means what? You are trying to protect something. Okay, so in virtual machines, whatever you're going to store, it is always represented as a single file. Okay, so whenever you're providing any service, it is very easy to identify, like this is the file which is going to be run, and this is the service it is going to be provided once you run this file. Okay, so encapsulation process here can be your services which you are providing as a cloud provider to your consumer, that can be there. Okay, even you can have your encapsulated VMwares, where you can have, in your first VM you can have one application, in other you can have other applications. So you can encapsulate rather than putting all your services in just VM, or you can say virtual machine. You can create different encapsulated VMs, small, you can protect them, you can give them security, you can give some extra added features, so that you can do it. Anybody who want to have an access to that VM should know the password, and once they put that password, they can be able to run that particular VM. So encapsulation here refers to what you can divide your public cloud and private cloud, in other words. Okay, which you want your uh, virtualization VMs to be accessed by everyone, then you can have it just publicly without protecting it. If you want your VM to be, run by few set of people, you want to make it private. So in that case, you can put a password into it, and accordingly people can have an access to it. So with this encapsulation, every VM can be run individually, you can say, or they can run one by one without interfering with each other or with another application. And with this you can give an end-to-end services to your consumers, or you can create it something for yourself. So encapsulation plays a very important role, where you can divide the services according to the requirements, you can protect that services, or you can just keep it publicly. So the choice is yours, that's how you want to do the encapsulation process. So next we're moving to the topic, that is taxonomy of virtualization technique. Okay. So taxonomy is simply refers to that whenever you're talking about virtualization, how it is divided at different levels, what do you perform at each level, how the execution actually take place, that refers to as taxonomy. So you can see over your screens there is a diagrammatic representation which is divided into each and every stepwise, that how it is performed at lower level and how it is performed at the highest level. Okay, so when I talk about virtualization, okay, basically the very first thing which is important is execution environment, because if you don't have an execution environment, your virtualization will not take place. So this is something which is very much important at the very first step. Okay, next you need a storage. If you don't have a good storage, where you're going to store the results of your execution environment, so storage plays usually important role, and usually we go for a cloud storage, as I've already told you before, which is categorized into two, that is public cloud and private cloud. Next we have is network. You need a good network, you need a connectivity where you're going to store, you're going to execute, and here you're going to perform. Okay, so execution environment is broadly classified into two, which you can see over your screen. One is process level and another is system level. Okay, so process level, here you're going to have your processes which are going to work, which are going to execute on different environments and going to get your work done. At system level, you're going to create a system virtualization, that is usually referred as hardware assisted virtualization, which is categorized into three: full, para, and partial virtualization. So these are the techniques which are of hardware virtualization. Whenever you're thinking of virtualizing your hardware resources or your hardware systems, then you usually go for these three techniques. We are going to look each of them in detail, that how, what is full virtualization, what is para virtualization, and what is partial virtualization. So these are three hardware assisted virtualization which are performed at system level. In case of process level, we do the emulation where we run our guest programs, we run our guest operating system, we perform high level VMs, that all your programming languages are usually runs, your source codes are run, that usually take place at higher level VM. Then you perform multi-programming operating system, like you will have multiple programs running at a single point, and there can be multiple operating systems running on like they are running isolatedly, but they are working on the single host, which I've already known about this. Okay, so this is your complete taxonomy of virtualization. And important part is the execution environment, that is divided into two, that is process level and system level. Okay, so in process level it is divided into three, that is emulation, that works with application. You have high level VMs that works with programming languages. You have multi-programming architecture which works with different operating system. Then we have your system level, which is had the important elements that were hardware assisted virtualization, which is subcategorized into three: full virtualization, para virtualization, and partial virtualization. So this is something which is done at system level. Since we all know that what do you mean by virtualization, so now we are going to start directly with the execution part of virtualization. Okay, so if I talk about execution virtualization, it is going to consist of all the techniques that will help you to emulate, or you can say that will help you to run an execution environment, where you can separate your host machines from the virtualization layer. There can be multiple virtualization layer which is going to be, shared across single host. So all you're going to take care of the techniques which will help you to execute the programs, which will help you to run different operating systems, which will help you to you do the compilation of all your machine models which are there, which is required by your application. So everything which is related to execution of virtualized environment or virtualization is going to be coming under this section, that is your execution virtualization. So your execution virtualization, you can either you can implement it on the top of the hardware by the operating system, or by the libraries dynamically you can link them with the image. The choice is yours, that what you want to do and how you want to do the execution. Mostly it is usually implemented on the top of the hardware by the operating systems. Okay, so that is your execution virtualization. So the very first thing which comes under your execution virtualization is machine reference model. Okay, this is something which is first thing which really needs to be considered. Okay, so machine reference model, usually it will help you to create interfaces between different levels of abstraction. You can hide some implementation details, you can perform some virtualization techniques, you can replace few layers, then you are going to make the call. So basically here you're going to use API, ABI, and ISA. Okay, so if I talk about APIs, that is your application level interface. Okay, as everybody must be knowing about it. Okay, next we have is ABI, that is application binary interface, and third is ISA. Okay, that is your system ISA, that is your interface applications. Okay, so this is something which is very much important when you talk about machine reference model, because all your applications which are running will have their some set of libraries. They will need some operating system, they need some underlying hardware. So in machine reference model, on you will have your applications which you can see over your screen. Okay, on the very bottom layer you have your hardware. In between you have your operating system, that whatever operating system which you are running, and then you have your libraries, set of libraries which are required by that applications to run. Okay, so ISA is very much important, that is instruction set architecture, which will give you set of instructions, that what processor is going to be used, what registers are going to be required, what memory is going to be required. All the management of this is going to be done by your ISA, that is your instruction set architecture. So this is something which is going to run just above the hardware, you can see over your screens. Okay, next we have is ABI. Okay, so ABI is something that is application binary interface. So application binary interface is something which is there, which is going to separate your operating systems layer from the applications and the libraries which are to be managed by the OS. So you can see over your screens that how it is separating your ABI. ABI is separating what your application binaries. You can see the dotted line which is there. Okay, so this way they are separating each other. Hardware is being an operating system is separated by ISA, application libraries are being separated by ABIs, and then you have your APIs, that is your application program interfaces, which is the highest level, where you're going to have your different applications along with different libraries and the operating systems they are going to work with it. So basically important here is ISA. Okay, why it is important? Because it is, interfacing between your hardware and software, and this is something which is very much important whenever you are running your different operating systems on the guest machines. You are running different applications, so in that case if you want to directly manage it, then you can do it, and that can be possible with the help of ISA. So we are expected to remember the full form of API, that is application programming interface, ABI, that is your application binary interface, ISA, that is your instruction set architecture. And you have to remember that which is acting as an interface with what. If I talk about ISA, it is acting as an interface between your hardware and software. If I talk about ABI, it is acting as an interface which is separating your operating system layer from the application and library. Okay, and the top of it we have API, which is acting as an interface through which your applications are connected, the libraries are connected, and they are using some underlying operating systems. Okay, so at application levels there is an API calls which is made to the libraries, system calls from libraries is made to the operating system, and then your ISA is acting as an interface between your hardware and operating system. So machine reference model is very much important whenever you are thinking of your execution of virtualized environment, because you should know that how your applications are going to run. You should know how the libraries are linking with your application, what operating system is required by your applications to run, and you need a underlying hardware to make your operating system and your applications to run. So this everything you can say is integrated with each other, because with this they are making each other run. Okay, which is with, in other words you can say, with this they are interfacing, they are communicating with each other, and they are managing their environments, or they are executing in virtualized environment. So the machine reference model is the very first thing which you will need to take care of, and it consists of three important elements: ABI, API, and ISA. ISA is at the lower level, ABI is at the intermediate level, and API is at the top level. So that's it for the day. In the next lecture, we are going to start with more in detail with this into it, and we are going to stop here now. Okay, thank you everyone.